Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another detail here at Jay's Auto Detailing. On this episode, I'm going to be working on this 1979 Pontiac Trans Am. This car belongs to one of my pretty good customers. I met him last summer. He bought a 76 Trans Am, a black Trans Am that needed some attention, so he brought it in right after he purchased it, and I did a full paint correction on it, ceramic coating, interior detail, and cleaned up the engine bay for him. Went to a lot of car shows over the summer, saw him there with the car, won a bunch of trophies with it. He got tired of that car and purchased a 66 Malibu, which I detailed for him a few times. And next thing you know, he calls me and he sold that, and now he has this 79 Trans Am. So I'm guessing he doesn't hang on to cars too long, but this one we're gonna do the same thing basically that I did to his 76 Trans Am last year. Full paint correction, ceramic coating, clean up the interior a little bit, and also work on the engine bay. So I got my work cut out for me. I already washed the car and got it prepped. I did a test spot, and the paint is a little worse than what I thought. When he pulled in this morning, it was cloudy outside. I didn't have a chance to pull it inside because I had two cars in the bays here we were working on. And once I got it in here and washed, it's very difficult to see, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pick it up on the camera to show you guys, but there's a lot of surface scratches. There's wet sanding scratches that weren't completely buffed out, and the paint's pretty hazy. I did my test spot, and it looks like I'm gonna be using, I can probably do a two-step here, Meguiar's 105 with a heavy cut pad, and then come back with a polish to finish it out before I apply the ceramic coating. So I'm gonna try to show you what the paint looks like with some light shining on it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick up all of the imperfections in the paint though. So I think it's gonna be kind of tough for the camera to pick it up, but if you follow the light, you can see a lot of small surface scratches in there. Very light stuff from improper washing or wiping down with dirty towels along the door here. Basically the whole car looks like this. Now I'm going to bring you back across the door, just follow the light, and I already did the entire quarter here. You can see the difference with the light shining on it. Look at how clear it is, and then you come back across over here and you can see all the imperfections around, especially around the door handle here. So that's what I'm going to be working with. The entire car basically looks just like this right here, so I don't really need to show you anything else. That's all it is. So when the owner originally called me about this car, told me the paint was in great condition, which I mean it is, and it's going to be even better after I polish it out, but it's very difficult to see that, especially in a light colored car like this, out in natural light. He called me shortly after he dropped it off, and I said I didn't get it inside yet, but when I did, I would give him a call and let him know how things were going to go. I don't think it's going to be too bad to polish out though. I mean, doing a two-step on it I think is going to really amplify the paint, give it a good shine. It looks like a totally different color next to the door from where I already polished, so we're seeing some great improvements, and I'm pretty hopeful that this is going to look excellent when it gets, especially outside. The paint job's pretty good. The car's really straight. There's one little tiny dent that I found in the fender, but the rest of the car looks really nice. Give you a quick peek at the interior. So everything looks pretty new in here. Seats were definitely recovered, new carpet, new dash pad. There's no way that stuff's original, unless this thing was put in a bubble for a while, but it's only showing 16,000 miles. So maybe this is all original in there. I don't know, the seats definitely look like they were redone. Very solid car though. I'll give you a peek under the hood. So we're gonna be cleaning this up too. It's a little dirty under there, needs some loving. There's a lot of dust. We get everything cleaned up pretty good here. So there's just a little surface rust on the valve covers and down near the carburetor, but I don't want to get anything too crazy wet in here, so I'm going to be pretty mild with my approach to cleaning in here. Probably use the Tornador and some wet micros, spray some all-purpose cleaner in there, degreaser, but we're definitely not going to drench the engine bay. It's not that dirty that it needs to be pressure washed or anything, and I don't want to disturb any of the wiring or get anything too crazy wet. But we will be giving that a little detail under the hood here. Rear quarter, moving along to the door. Not horrible. Up here on the hood, same thing as the sides. I figure it was probably a California duster or something along those lines. That you know, maybe this was just sitting in someone's garage and they would just dust it off before they took it out, and that's where we wind up with all this, these small little marks in the paint. I mentioned that the bays were filled up today when the Trans Am was dropped off, and this was one of the cars we were working on. So this is an 01 SS convertible. It's got about 95,000 miles on it, I believe. So it came in for a polish, threw a coat of sealant on it, and then we did an interior detail. So I have the windows open, just letting everything kind of air out. It's not getting picked up until early next week. I got the floor mats up, but very clean car. It's in really good shape. The leather's in good shape. The top's got a little sag in the back around the back window. You can see it there. And in some areas, the clear's starting to fail. I mean, this car's pretty old. It might have sat outside for a while. Who knows how many times a buffer was run across it. And you can see some marks on the hood here, down the bottom. But overall, this is a good looking car. Runs solid, nice set of wheels on it, got a really good shine. But that's what I worked on today, and like I said, I'm going to be moving on to the Trans Am. That's the next project. So I'm going to get started on this. Test spot was already done, the quarter's already polished out, and I'm going to get to moving around the rest of the car and get this thing prepped for ceramic coating. I wound up doing two passes on this Trans Am. The first pass I used Meguiar's 105 with a heavy cutting pad, And there were some areas where I needed to break out the rotary with the wool pad, especially up on the roof behind me. There were some deeper sanding scratches that I needed to level out. The rest of the car had some very light sanding scratches and some marring just from general washing and wiping down. So I went around the whole car once and knocked all that, leveled it out nice. The second round I did with a polishing pad, Lake Country, the orange polishing pad, and 3D1. So that finished out the paint really nice. It's got a great shine. A lot of those defects that were in the paint and the sanding marks are gone. So this thing is just about ready for me to apply the ceramic coating. This one we're going to be doing the 2-year Jade Ice. I just have to finish up some spots on the roof on the passenger side and the trunk lid after I lower this down from the lift, and then we'll be able to prep it and start ceramic coating. This paint's looking great. I'll show you the interior too after I'm done, and then I still need to work on the engine bay. So I'm going to save that for the end and get it all cleaned up. The engine bay is pretty clean. I got in there the best I could and didn't want to get too aggressive anywhere, so we didn't get anything crazy wet. So some all-purpose cleaner and a brush and the Tornador blew out some dust. There was some paint that was starting to flake off of the water pump. You can see it down here. So I didn't want to get too crazy down there either, make a bigger mess than what we're dealing with. So just kind of gave everything a general wipe and then finished it off with some non-silicone dressing just to dress up the engine, give all the plastics a nice shine and the rubber hoses, and that's going to do it for the engine bay. Is all complete. 2-year Jade ceramic coating on the exterior. We did a quick interior wipe down, just dressed everything with some 303 just to protect the vinyl, the seats, and then engine bay dust off and wipe down. So this thing is looking great. Big difference from what it looked like when it came in the other day. Got all those scratches and sanding scratches and everything out of the paint. So it's definitely looking a lot glossier. It's ready for car show season. I know he's going to be heading to a car show this coming weekend, so it was like perfect timing for him to get it done, and he's super excited to be showing off his new car. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for joining us again for another detail, and we will see you on the next one.